When we communicate with other people who are not right in front of you, let's say on the phone, some of the questions you ask frequently are, where are you? And the other question that you ask is, what are you doing? What are you up to? So most people would probably give an answer as follows. I'm here in whatever, New York City, and I am recording a video. I just want to explore that because that could be the biggest illusion, the biggest hallucination, that you and I exist in space or time, that you and I exist in something called the theater of space-time, where we interact with each other and we interact with objects. So the basic question we are asking right now is one of location, not one of experience, because experience is happening all the time, okay? Even sleep is an experience. So experience is happening all the time. And so the answer to the second part, what are you doing, is I'm having an experience. But where are you, the one who's having the experience? So most people, again, have the intuition that the one who's having the experience, that which we call the observer, the thinker, the feeler, the one who's imagining, the one who is interacting, the observer, I think is the easiest phrase, the observer, the experiencer, the seer, the one who sees, is somewhere inside the body. There's a little Deepak somewhere, looking at the world through these eyes, listening to the world through these ears, and on and on. The problem is there's no observer to be found in the body. In fact, the question of how we have an in-body experience is a huge problem for neuroscience and even for philosophers. Here are some ways that people have thought how an in-body experience is created, even though there is no observer in the body. I will mention these, even though I don't agree with most of these. So here are some of the ways that humans have thought, scientists, philosophers, neuroscientists, etc., have thought, how do we get an in-body experience? Number one, the brain creates a model of the body based on sensory information from the body's internal, inside, and external environment. This model is then used to generate the experience of being inside the body. That's one explanation. Another explanation is that the brain has a special self-sensing device, a special self-sensing mechanical device, a mechanism that allows it to directly perceive the body's internal state. Again, no, not really a satisfactory explanation to me anyway. Another is that the experience of being inside the body is a subjective illusion that is not actually based on any physical reality. Getting a little closer, okay? So, of course, there's evidence, so-called scientific evidence, to support each of these explanations. For example, studies have shown that the brain's representation of the body is constantly updated based on sensory information. This suggests that the brain is actively creating a model of the body which could be used to generate the experience of being in it. Okay, but that doesn't actually answer the question. Where is the observer? And when we say the brain creates a model, then also we have a problem, because the brain itself is a model. The word brain is a model for mind. The brain looks like an object, but it reflects the mind. Is the mind doing the brain, or is the brain doing the mind? And I would suggest that there are both complementary aspects of a deeper consciousness. But let's keep following this argument. So there are also now very good documented cases of so-called out-of-body experiences. And there are clinical studies of out-of-body experiences. And these studies have found that out-of-body experiences are often associated with certain brain states, such as those that occur during sleep paralysis or near-death experiences. And this, according to current science, suggests that out-of-body experiences may be created by abnormal activities of the brain. Some studies have attempted to induce out-of-body experiences experimentally. These studies have used techniques such as sensory deprivation, hypnosis, transcranial magnetic stimulation, and the results of these studies have been mixed. It is not clear if OBEs, as they are called, can be reliably induced in a laboratory setting. So how do we have an in-body experience? How do we have an out-body experience? So this is still a philosophical and I would say scientific dilemma. There was a study published in the journal Nature a long time ago by researchers led by Olaf Blanke that found that stimulating the temporoparietal junction, TPG, of the brain can induce out-of-body experiences. And this is a region of the brain that is involved in, according to current neuroscience, in self-awareness and spatial observation. Another study published in the journal Psychiatry Research found that people who have had out-of-body experiences are more likely to have certain brain abnormalities, such as a smaller hippocampus and a larger amygdala. And of course, the hippocampus is involved in memory formation, and the amygdala is involved in emotional processing. Yet another study published in the journal Frontiers in Psychology found that people who have had out-of-body experiences are more likely to have certain personality traits, such as openness to experience and getting very absorbed in the experience. Openness to experience is a personality trait that is associated with being interested in new experiences and ideas. Absorption is a personality trait that is associated with being easily drawn into an experience, to become one with the experience. So these are some of the published studies and some of the thinking that's going on in both science and philosophy. I don't think any of these studies is giving us access to truth, although they do give us clues to what truth could be. The truth could be understood as follows. Okay, every experience we have, raw experience, is either a color or a shape and color go together, or a form, shape, color, form go together, or a sound, or a texture, or a taste, or a smell, or an emotion, or a thought, or an image in imagination. Acronym SIFT, SIFT, sensation, sense perception, image, feeling, and thought. And all of these experiences are qualia. Qualia is a simple word which means quality of experience. Quality of experience. The color red is a qualia. The taste of wine is a qualia. Any experience is a qualia. You cannot, I think, give me an example of an experience that is not a qualia, which means that is not color, shape, form, sound, texture, taste, smell, feeling, thought, or imagination. If you know of such an experience outside of these qualia, I'd like to hear about it. Now, those qualia that we're talking about, which is all of experience, your body is a combination of qualia, your mind is a combination of qualia, can't be found in space or time. When you say, what is the location of the color red? There's no answer to that, because color is not a property of the physical world. You're looking at my bookshelf, all those colors. You're looking at the carpet there, the wall hanging. Colors, my shirt, my face, everything is color. But then you say, where is color to be found in the physical universe? It can't be found. Color is an experience in consciousness. You know, what scientists say is color is a particular part of the electromagnetic spectrum. Violet, indigo, Vibgyor, violet, indigo, blue, G, green, yellow, orange, red. And so I'm experiencing those colors right now on the screen. So are you. I'm experiencing the colors around my body, but at the same time, I'm experiencing my body and I'm experiencing my mind, which is trying to figure this out. And none of the qualia that I mentioned, textures, taste, smells, are to be found in the physical world. Colors, photons, etc. When you touch something, it's electrons that bump into electrons. These are human constructs to explain the experience. But where is the experience of texture, of sound, of smell, of taste? Where is the experience? Where are those qualias? They can't be found in space-time. Your mind is a combination of qualia, your body is a combination of qualia. And you are the experiencer of qualia. So I think the simplest answer is that which experiences and that which is experienced, and the whole process of experiencing is happening outside of space-time. This is what is happening right now. You think you're in wherever, Mozambique. I think I'm in New York. Those are names given to this present experience of qualia. You say, I have a body, that's a name to this qualia experience. You say, I have a mind, that's a name given to the qualia experience that we're having right now as the result of this conversation. So then where are you? Well, I think the simplest answer is that you're not in space-time, that you're non-local. And this possibility of non-local consciousness is now getting some attention, although it's a controversial topic that is being debated by scientists and philosophers. And there's no consensus on whether what we call consciousness, the source of all experience, and the location, misnomer, of all experience is non-local, which means outside of space-time. One piece of evidence that is often cited in support of non-local consciousness is the phenomenon of quantum entanglement. Quantum entanglement is a property of certain pairs of particles that means that they are linked together in such a way that they share the same fate no matter how far apart they are. And this suggests that there may be some kind of non-local correlation, connection between these particles, which could also apply to consciousness. Another piece of evidence that is sometimes cited is the experience of remote viewing. Remote viewing is the ability to perceive information about a distant location or event without using the senses. And there have been a number of studies that have investigated remote viewing, and some of these studies have produced results that are difficult to assume without the assumption of non-local consciousness. So there we are as far as science is concerned. And the only way to experience this non-local consciousness is in the experience that we call samadhi. There are many kinds of samadhi, and I shall share them with you. And samadhi is when we go in the direction of resolution of subject-object split, which is artificial. So, my friends, the mind is non-local, the body is non-local, the universe is non-local, and you who are having this experience is non-local. And if non-local means not in space-time, then it means everywhere, omnipresent. It also means omniscient. It also means omnipotent, because that non-locality can appear through the power of perception, which is a modified form of consciousness, non-local. It can appear as being anywhere in location of space-time. So we can say, oh, that statue is there. I can say the statue is there when I look behind. You can say it's on your computer. But actually, that's just an appearance. The statue, you, your brain, your body, and the universe are outside of space-time. They're activities of a consciousness that is not in space-time, which means it is timeless, eternal, and curving back within itself, it is creating the experiences of space-time and causality. But you and everything you experience, mind, body, and the universe, is in reality not in space-time. And you are that. Timeless, eternal. That's why spiritual traditions have said awareness, consciousness, soul, spirit are the same thing. They're divine activities, and divine meaning, in this case, timeless, eternal, immortal expressions of a timeless reality, which is you. It sounds a little clumsy the way I'm saying it, so what the heck. I'll end with my favorite quote from the Bhagavad Gita, one of my favorite quotes. Who you are not only is inconceivable and imperceivable, but timeless and immortal. Water cannot wet it, wind cannot dry it, weapons cannot shatter it, fire cannot burn it. It is ancient. That which you are is ancient, unborn, and not subject to death. And birth, death, and everything in between is an adventure in the illusion of space-time and causality. Reflect on that and give me a feedback. I'm anxious to hear it.